Charles OIiveria was recently knocked out by this evil gremlin, and it had fans worried when he announced that he was making a 2-month turnaround to fight Fiziev, which turned into a Gamrot fight due to an injury. Now, I have to admit I was one of these worried fans. Seeing OLIVERIA out cold a few months ago took time off of my life. Time that should have been spent with my future children. But thank fuck was I wrong, because Charles OIiveria just restored that life energy in me by winning by dominant victory over Gamrot this weekend. So today we will be talking about that win, we'll be talking about what's next for OLIVERIA, and really we're just going to be happy about OLIVERIA getting a win. As usual, if that sounds like something you would enjoy, don't forget to spank the shit out of the like button and my anus. And let's begin. There's a few moments in life that bring guaranteed happiness into everyone's lives. Seeing the smiles of your happy children, watching your lovely bride walk down the aisle, seeing a bicycle rider eat shit after hogging the road, and of course, a Charles OIiveria win in MMA. These are the things in life that just make a grown man want to tear up. I mean, this beautiful man right here has had the most ups and downs in his UFC career. He's a former champ, he's got the most finishes in the UFC, and I'd have to argue that he's the most loved fighter besides my man Volk. And I just gotta come out and say it. I don't think that knockout loss to Ilya did anything to deter Charles OIiveria. It did nothing to his confidence, and it did nothing to his go-forward mentality. And I think it's safe to say that the Predator has arrived. Now, is it just me, or does that nickname sound a little bit rapey? Just me? Cool. Anyway, let's talk about the fight. Firstly, I want to say that the Brazil crowd is us. Sure, they like to support their own just like everyone else, including us Australians. But these guys are some of the biggest dickheads and sore losers I've ever seen in MMA fandom. Yeah, I get it. It sucks to see your favorite fighters lose or your countrymen lose. But when someone wins, you still give them the respect that they deserve. Do I like watching the Dagestanis destroy all of my favorite fighters? No. But I still respect them as sportsmen. Do I want to see them lose? Yes. Am I happy when they lose? Yes. But do I boo them? No. It's this little thing called morals and not being a fuckwit. And look, we all saw it when you all walked out on your main man Glover when he was retiring. All I can say is grow up. Now, other than that, when it comes to the OLIVERIA fight, as I said, that knockout loss to Ilya seemed to do nothing to his confidence. I mean, he wasn't scared to get knocked out at all. In fact, it was almost like he was trying to get knocked out at some points in the fight. OLIVERIA in this fight got clipped with some absolutely solid shots. And let me just say this, if that wasn't Pillow Hands Gamrot, and that was Ilya Topuria in there again, you would be scraping my body off the tiles in my backyard after I bounced out that window. Because Ilya would have slept him again with any of those shots. But thankfully it wasn't Ilya, and Charles was just doing, you know, a little tank test. A little tank test on his chin to make sure that it was still there after the Ilya fight. Now, the pressure that Charles had in this fight was reminiscent of Poatan last weekend. It's like this unstoppable aura and this energy of, I won't be knocked down, I won't lose, and I'm gonna dominate you. You know, none of this, oh, it's a 5-round fight, I better be careful and reserve my energy. No, that shit got fucked off. In your face, landing right away, combinations, throwing hard, I'm going to win. That was the energy that Charles come in with. He definitely didn't come in with the energy of someone who was like, ooh, I don't know if my chin's gonna hold up in this fight. I recently just got knocked out. No. He come forward like he was still the champion. And that's what we love about OLIVERIA. And so after a few heavy shots landed on Gamrot, he picked up Charles and went for a single leg and got him down to the ground. But then Charles started spamming submission threats like a madman, throwing up guillotines, throwing up triangles, throwing up omoplatas. If there is a submission that you could try get off your back, he was throwing it. Now what this did is it stopped the momentum of Gamrot coming forward. Any wrestling presence that he had was being negated by all these submission threats. Yes, none of the submissions were too deep until the last one, but they still required attention and you had to give them the respect. And I don't know if you guys felt this in the fight or if this is just me glazing OLIVERIA, but it just felt like OLIVERIA was in control from the start of the fight all the way to the end. And for me, I thought the fight was going to end in a kind of Michael Chandler way because you saw that OLIVERIA was backing up Gamrot to the fence, forcing Gamrot to circle out a lot. I thought he might catch a nice clean overhand or a nice clean wide hook just as he's circling out here. But that didn't happen, and instead we saw submission destruction. Now, Charles was constantly complaining in this fight about fingers in the gloves, but once that final choke and body triangle was in, it was the end for Gamrot. And honestly, Charles must have some amazing squeeze, because Gamrot doesn't really seem like the type of fighter to me that would tap to a face crank of sorts. But let's just continue to glaze OLIVERIA here and say that he has the squeeze of a python. I'm convinced that anyone who was in there under that squeeze would tap. Now back to the gloves for a second. Can we not tape or put something under the gloves to stop people from hooking inside of them? You know, recently I saw this video where Islam hooks under the glove. He gets like a nice judo trip and he almost uses that as a sleeve or a grip to then get leverage on you and land his takedown. Now, either we start putting spiders in the MMA fighters' gloves so that when you put your fingers in there, they get nibbled, or I don't know, just fucking tape up the whole thing so you can't get anything in there. Regardless though, the fouls need to stop. But yeah, amazing fight from Charles. It was over in 2 rounds, and I feel that Charles was dominant the whole time. He got himself in no bad situations. He applied insane pressure, landed good combos, and through all of the sub attempts, he negated the wrestling and he negated being held down. I mean, what more could you want from a well-rounded MMA fight? And it's pretty impressive that this is the guy who beat Armin. And yes, MMA maths doesn't maths. We saw OLIVERIA lose to Armin, and we saw Gamrot beat a younger Armin. And obviously this Gamrot was on short notice. But still, Gamrot's been training wrestling for his entire life. Yes, this is on short notice, but that's the one thing he is extremely dominant at. So short notice or not, you're still going to be pretty fucking good at that skill. Usually we see people get subbed in MMA when they're tired or when they've been rocked. But Gamrot was neither. He was just plainly outskilled. All right, enough OLIVERIA glaze. What's next for OLIVERIA at lightweight? So it looks like we're probably going to get a Gaethje versus Ilya fight, which I'm fucking pissed off about, as probably is everyone else in the fandom. Gaethje will probably get knocked out and retire, and then we'll probably see Ilya in another year from then. Pimblett versus OLIVERIA would be a fun fight, but I don't know if the UFC wants to do a Pimblett fight, because he's potentially going to lose. But either way, he's probably going to have to verse Holloway, or he's going to have to verse OLIVERIA. So either way, you're probably getting smoked by either of those guys. I would say they'll probably do OLIVERIA versus Max next. That sounds like a good fight. Or they can do Paddy versus Max and give Olives a bit of a break. No matter how they do those matchups, I'm pretty excited for any list of them. So I guess we could do Paddy versus Max. Let OLIVERIA take a rest. OLIVERIA could verse the winner of those two. Then I guess you do the winner of Armin versus Dan. You get them to fight Ilya. And then I guess Ilya just kills everyone and ruins all of our favorite fighters again. Fuck, it's just so hard to be excited for the lightweight division when the soul stealer is at the very top. Either way, I'm still upset with Ilya. Fuck you for sleeping my favorite fighters. Thank you to Charles for angibly redeeming your aura. And lastly, JDM sleeps Islam coming up soon. Guys, thank you very much for watching this video. Don't forget to smack the shit out of the like button, subscribe button, my anus, you know, yada, yada, yada. Check out this video right here. And let me know down below, what did you think of this card? Did you like the Brazil card? What did you think of the crowd? Did I miss anything from the fight? Let me know down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.